Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a clan war team match between ONSYDE Gaming and Basilisk. And on the schedule today, on the menu, we have Reynor versus Ryung as our first best of two. Match number 2 will be Trigger versus Solar, and match 3 is going to be Serral versus Maru. All of these matches will be played in best of 2 format. If you go 2-0, your team gets 2 points. If you go 1-1, both teams get 1 point. It's pretty obvious. If at the end of the ride, the teams are tied in 3-3, there will be an ace match, which is a best of 1 played on a predetermined map. All of these maps are predetermined. The first map is, and the second map is loser's pick. That's always the case in the World Team League. And I thought this was such an interesting little match. You know what? Usually I only pick like a best of 2 or a single game out of it if someone recommends it. But here I was like, this is probably the 2 highest level teams in the world currently. Why don't we have a look at the entire clan wars? We have Ryung taking on Reynor here. Now, you might think Ryung, is this guy good enough to take on Reynor? And the answer is, well, perhaps. Ryung is a player that is very good at preparing. He's quite smart. He knows what his weaknesses are, but he also understands what his strengths are. And we often see him take at least maps out of better players. It is not uncommon for him to take a map. And of course, in the World Team League format, in which the losers get to pick a map without any vetoes, you often have some special preparation that you can do. For example, if I know that I'm playing against someone I'm much worse than, rather than preparing for the first map, I'm just going to start preparing for the second map, because I already know which map I'm going to pick when I lose, or if I only need to win a single map. For example, last weekend I had to play against Cure, and I prepared a very simple cheese for game number 1, because first of all, that's played on the West server, and second of all, it was not a great map for Protoss. And then on the second map, I had a special build prepared in case I lost the first game. And in that particular clan war, the only thing I really needed to do was win a single game, and that's what I did. So I was happy, Shopify was happy, and we're all happy together as we managed to take out Team Liquid in the ace match. And when I say we, I mean Beyond did most of the heavy lifting. But a lot of these things are, like, snipers are really important, and map snipers are very important. Ryung here starting with a nice little move. 4 Marines into a lifted barracks to take out that Overlord. I don't think Reynor quite expected that. Hell, I know Reynor didn't expect that at all. 39 out of 36 right now is a major supply block. And a beautiful thing here is that the factory immediately occupied that reactor. So not a whole lot was lost during all of this. I hope this is going to be a Viking build of sorts. Oh, it's double tech lab here. Tech lab on the starport as well as a tech lab on the barracks. So this is... I'm not actually sure what this feels like. 2 Hellions? Oh, it's a 2-base all-in. This is 100% a 2-base all-in. Now the question is, how is he going to 2-base all-in? It's going to be with a Banshee with Cloak, so probably 2 Banshees total. Would be very weird to just get a single Banshee and then get Cloak, because Cloak takes so freaking long to research. 4 cars are looking to do a drive-by. Didn't quite work out there, as Reynor was in position with his Lynx as well as the Queens. Right now is going for a 3-base Roach opener. And Roach is of course the strongest type of defense you can have against 2-base openers out of Terran. E-base getting added in here as well. As for now, yeah, third Rex is being built here as well by Ryung. I was gonna say there's only 2 barracks here for Ryung, but third one is on the way right now. That's going to increase that Marine production by quite a bit. Cloak little over halfway done as the first Banshee's just staying in the main base. Scout gets denied by Marines. I wonder what Reynor is thinking. Spores are going down. Starts 4 safety Roaches here, just in case maybe it's some type of 2-1-1 follow-up, or if there's more Hellions. I'm not sure what the Roaches are for, but they seem a little bit early. Third gas already being taken here by Ryung. Reynor has scouted the lack of a third base. Usually the third base gets built in the wall, and there was nothing in the wall, so perhaps Reynor now is like, wait a second, this might be significant 2-base pressure, which is of course what is happening here. There is a third base behind this for Ryung, as he builds it in his main base, I believe. Please do note that I'm not the one observing, and I'm also not the one in control of the quality of this. The only way to cast these games is that there's a live feed that the WTL provides, which has the game sounds and the cameras, but it does mean that I can be, doing my cool little zoom-ins that I'm so well known for. and just overall stellar observing. So every now and again, it's going to be a little bit frustrating, but then again, life is a little bit frustrating every now and again. What would the great moments be without the frustrating moments? You know what I'm saying? As we have a lair going up in the main base, Banshee's moving towards the net. We'll get a couple of kills. 3 so far. It's not a whole lot, as Reynor is bumping his drone count up to, what is this, like 68, 67? Something along them lines. 1-1 starts as well for those roaches. I think Ryung is getting ready to move out here. There's one tank still stuck in the main base behind the depot. It's going to be a double drop initially. That is interesting. So perhaps... Ooh, lost a Banshee there. Thanks for showing me that, Mr. Observer. Huh. So perhaps he's just going to go with the next 2 medevacs. So first an initial poke here into the main. Small little poke into the main. And then follow it up with, I guess, a major push out. Look at that creep spread though. 6 minutes and 50 seconds in. We're halfway across the map as Reynor is looking stellar as ever. Marines here are being dropped. That Roach gonna get transfused up. Good individual unit control. Queen doesn't get taken out either. Bunch of transfuses do get used, as one Roach will end up falling. Overall, a fine trade for Ryung. Obviously, he would like to deal some more damage. But I think Reynor actually believes he's much safer than he is. He's adding in 10 more drones. The two-base push still needs to come. This is a very weird little thing that Ryung is doing here. Like, he played 3 racks. He needs to do something with it. You can't just play 3 racks and then say, okay, now we're playing an even game. Because, well, let's face it, it's not an even game at all. 81 workers to 58. Upgrades, well, Ryung is going to be behind pretty soon as well, as he was working off just a single eBay for a very long time. Just now adding a second eBay as well as that armory. But he just ain't pushing. He's playing this as if this is a triple CC build, and I'm kind of shocked by it. I really am kind of shocked by it. Hasn't denied any creep at all, as Reynor is looking very, very powerful when it comes to that. Mechanically strong. 3 more barracks being added in. Is this an 8 racks, perhaps? Is this perhaps an 8 racks, as Ryung drops a bunch of Marines? Doesn't pick them up ever again. It's going to be Roach Infestor for Reynor. Starting a Lurker then as well. I'd love to see these extra range upgrades start too. He does have this, the upgrade lead. But in order to keep that, you're going to need to start your upgrades ASAP. As Ryung is hitting about 150 supply right now. Three tech labs on the way for Ryung. This is a very odd game. It feels like every second Ryung should have been moving out, and now he just goes for just a pretty standard, like, what, 3, 4, 5 tank push? Except he doesn't have tanks. So it's not really a tank push. It's just more Marines. They're just being slaughtered here in the middle of the map. Yeah, this is looking atrocious here for Ryung. No fort base yet. Down 20 workers. Down about 800-900 minerals a minute. Down 400, 500, 600 gas a minute. Like, look, I truly believe in the power of Terran, but this is pushing it even for me. Ryung continues trying to deny creep with the emphasis there on the word trying. Because he hasn't really denied a whole lot of creep quite yet. Another huge fungal is going to connect, and this is a bit of a mismatch, it feels like. As Ryung, ONSYDE still gets an okay fight. This is just a pure Roach army. So far, Reynor is looking powerful. There are some Vipers out, probably need to be used in this particular fight. They are not being used right now. Concussive Shells has finished up. Where's them Vipers at? Seismic Spine's about to finish as well. This is still just a 3 base all-in, mind you. Reynor's going up to 6 bases right now. I don't think he's quite understanding what is going on here. But maybe he doesn't need to, as I'm not sure if those Vipers did anything. I think one of them just died. A couple of fungals do connect. This is still a pretty crap army, though, that Reynor is sporting. I mean, it's just Roach Ravager, really. No Banes. Infestors have all died. There's a single Viper. Like, it's literally 24 Roaches and 5 Ravagers. It is actually a really bad army. Now a Lurker finishes up. Make that 2 Lurkers. It's going to help out. But still, it's only 2 Lurkers. Reynor's gonna try to move forward here. Cast the Blinding Cloud, but I know, this just doesn't look so great for him. I really didn't think this was going to be possible whatsoever for Ryung to do anything whatsoever. Like, this game felt pretty much over. Liberator's now being pulled in. But the tanks are still alive, and there's no Banelings to tank the tank shots. There's just Roaches. And that's also what's supposed to deal the damage, you know? Good little drop. A nice split off there by Ryung, who's now rotating towards this side. This bottom side. It says, hey, where's your Lurkers at? Alright, out of position. His tanks are in the correct spot, though. Reynor dropping quite a bit of supply here. Still has a large bank at 81 workers. And he has been outmining his opponent for a long, long time. Needs to get some type of run-by going to stop the reinforcements. But that ain't happening. 3 Roaches will not be capable of stopping that. I think a Lurker run-by might be something that we could look into, as Reynor now drops to 63 workers. His bank's still significant. 6 o'clock base might become very important for him. If that stays alive, could later on be saturated again. Larva count only at 5, so Reynor with overall scarcity here. Scarcity. Doesn't have a lot of stuff. No larva. No great upgrades either. It's not like he continued those. He's just now starting them. Doesn't have too many casters. I think we're still working off a single Viper. 7 Lurkers though. Might allow him to stabilize. And if we stabilize, then we're going into a late game. If we're going into a late game, I'm not saying I'm favoring Reynor, but I'm liking it a lot more than if we don't go into a late game. Because for now, he still has a crap army. Defensively, Ryung looking good. Plenty of units here as... oh, what happened here? That was a fight. That was a little fight. Oh, there was 2 Lurkers there on the right side. I didn't even see that. A little Lurker flank there. Oh my god. That was a sweet move. And all of a sudden, Reynor, once again outmining his opponent, forcing a lift on that 3rd base. He's double expanding right now, while still having that 6 o'clock as well. Needs to be careful, though. Can't dial up that aggression too far. Because then you're gonna get caught like this. Lurkers go down, Roaches. Pounding sand as well. As Lurkers move into position, we'll take out 2 Liberators instantly. That's nice. Oh, if only that CC could go down, it would be huge. There's no backup command centers whatsoever. It's 3 CCs, 3 orbitals, and that's it. 2 of them right now are floating. Top left side base going to get taken out. Look at that income graph. Holy crap. I'd love to see the resources lost. I have a feeling we're not going to see the resources lost, though, for a little while. As Lurker here trying to deny this base. I love that a scan got forced there. A fan got scorched. Because there's really not that many scans available. 1 more will need to be utilized. I think turrets are going to be important. I actually feel like Reynor might be doing it again. I think Reynor right now, yep, he's back in the driver's seat. He is absolutely back in the driver's seat. 7 Lurkers. Out and about. Don't forget Solaris. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. I was going to say it's a Zerg favorite map, but that might just be the case in the Zerg versus Protoss matchup. I'm not sure how it is in this matchup. But yeah, oh, big fungal there's connecting as now Reynor's running in here saying, hello, I have a lot of drones, I have a lot of units, and you have nothing left. Very nice play here out of Reynor. I think he's going to secure this game at some point in the near future as Ryung on the back foot, Reynor with some beautiful aggressive rotations here, getting stuff done. That nice Lurker move in the middle as well. I didn't completely appreciate it in the moment, but that was something. This is just the most recent resources lost, not the overall resources lost. As the bottom side base going to get taken out. And Ryung right now in a world of trouble, and I think he's well aware of it as well. Still just massing Marauders, but I mean, at this point, the lurker count is so high that just Marauder tank... Well, tanks will cut it if you have a lot of tanks, but there's just not a lot of tanks. Ideally, you have like Ghost tank, right? Ghosts are freaking powerful. Yeah, the income graph is looking absolutely bonkers there. Truly mad. Liberator being pulled in here by the Vipers. Nice flank. But it's not going to be enough, obviously. It was still a nice flank. GG gets caught. As Reynor wins game number 1. In his best of 2. Map 2 is Oceanborn, as picked by Ryung. That's interesting. I didn't know this was considered to be a massive Terran map in TVZ. I don't actually know what would be a massive Terran map in TVZ either. Maybe this is it. It's completely possible. Ooh, Reynor opening up with a pool first here. Fast gas as well. That's interesting. That is very interesting. The sea monster flying over leaves a big shadow above Reynor's natural. Another thing that is fun, well, it's good to know, is that in the WTL, there is the policy is to have the first map played on West between Koreans and Europeans. So last map was in favor of Ryung when it comes to the ping. So Ryung would have probably around 130, 140 ping, and Reynor would be between 190, 180 and 220, something along those lines. And now I think it is somewhat reversed. I think most Koreans get about 160 to 190 to Central, which is the server they're probably currently playing on, while most Europeans, especially Western Europeans, can get like 110 to 140 or so. Something along those lines. It depends a little bit on the connection and also depends on the day and how the Blizzard server is feeling. If the Blizzard server is having a bad day, and all of a sudden you have 30 more ping. I have no clue how that works, but maybe the cables are being eaten by jellyfish, or SpongeBob is having a blast with his friends again down in the sea. Oh, this was a guest first opener, by the way. Guess first with a low ground wall, so it's going to be Cyclones most likely. Hellion. Great call. Love it when I'm right. I still believe it's going to be Cyclones. Even if it's not happening yet. Could also add in some Reapers maybe. And there's just a lot of gas in the bank. And I'm not seeing a starport, so it's like, what's happening here? It could be for late battle cruisers, I guess, as Lynx making their way across the map. Ooh. These Lynx catch the cars. That would be big. You don't want your car to be caught there. Okay, it's going to be double Cyclone as a follow-up. And with an opener like this, I'm kind of feeling a second factory as well. Could be wrong. These Cyclones are at risk of being caught by the Lynx. Lynx show their face a little bit too early. I think the reactor is the appropriate target here, because that can be repaired. The depot can be repaired. I think the reactor would have been the correct call. He starts it a little bit too late there. I don't think he's going to get the reactor anymore. That's a real sloppy play there out of Reynor. It really is. Tech Lab, of course, only takes, what is it, 18 seconds to build, and a reactor takes 36. That is an insane amount of time. You delay your opponent's main production structure by, what, 36 seconds? That's huge. That's an entire round of Cyclones. It's like freaking 2.5 cars. Or 3 cars, basically. Catching some of these Lynx right now as Cyclone Hellion is chasing this around. Young, real nice when it comes to that. Following this up with double eBay. Look at this. This guy knows, he knows what greed is, okay? He invented greed. So he's doing a brilliant job here denying scouting. He's still going into stim. I guess that's the only disadvantage, is that you're showing so clearly what you're doing still, that this is going to be bio. But the 1-1 follow-up before extra barracks, that's a sexy play. Yeah, you can say a lot about Ryung, but you can't say he ain't a sexy player, because he's a sexy player, alright? This guy's a beast. This was absolutely god-awful for him. Legitimately terrible. I can't stress enough how bad this was for Ryung. He just lost all of his map control and dealt 0 damage. He's gonna lose his stim again as well. Or at least his tech lab again. Before he wasn't even researching stim yet. Oh my god. I like the build order still. Just because the execution isn't there doesn't mean the build ain't good. You know, you can't blame the build for the poor execution. Yeah, it's not on the build. Okay, the build is just the concept anyway. You're gonna blame a concept? It makes no sense. Execution is what should be blamed. This was not it. Holy crap. Reynor in a fabulous spot right now. I mean, practically unlosable. And especially given the fact that he's the favorite player the longer the game goes. I'm having a very difficult time imagining this going well for Ryung in the next couple of minutes. He's adding in the fast armor. He's going to start his 2-2 at the same time as his first 2 medevacs, which is kind of funny in and by itself. But yeah. Baneling Nest going down. There's no upgrade yet for Reynor. Okay, this is the one thing. Let's see the positive sides here for Ryung. So, in a hypothetical scenario, if Ryung were to make a miraculous comeback against someone that is considered 6, 7, 800 MMR above him, how were he going to do that? Well, I think it starts with Reynor forgetting upgrades for a little bit. I think that would be a nice thing. So, we're already going to have an upgrade window, right? A timing window. Or at least a timing in which Ryung is going to be up 2 upgrades. And that timing window will last until 3-3 finishes for Reynor, pretty much. That is just going to be an absolute fact. Creep is limited on the far right side. Which is where... excuse me. Suddenly hit my 4th wave of puberty there. My voice dropped like an octave. What was I gonna say? Right, the creep on the right side is fairly mediocre, which is where Reynor took his fort, and it also is a potential good mine location where he can stand on top of that ramp, kite back to mines. Reynor does have a phenomenal worker count. 77 already. I think it's really important right now for Ryung to get a good trade. Like immediately, right off the bat, because he's going to need a bunch of momentum. It's going to be so vital for him to get some momentum going. Start clearing creep. He's going for an 8-Rex build once more. And he's going to have that upgrade advantage. And supplies are actually surprisingly close. I'm a bit confused by this. Did I misread this early game completely? I thought this was garbage here for Ryung. As Ryung is just playing it very slow, he's going to deny a little bit of creep in the middle. As the sea monster makes it round again. Don't forget, there are no tanks with this push. So despite this being an 8-Rex, usually you see that with tanks it's going to be with mines. But mines not being used in these little drops. Yes, the stream is a little bit choppy for me right now. I'm sorry. There's literally nothing I can do about that. It's either this or there's nothing here, you know? And then I'd rather have this, because these are some epic matches. 2-2 about to finish up. Ryung's actually going to hit like a truck. That's mainly because Reynor is behaving like a tricycle over here. Like he's floating a lot of cash. Really a lot of cash. I don't think he scouted the lack of a fort base whatsoever. He's struggling massively on this map. He has a run-by set up, but that run-by is one of those run-bys that I don't think is big enough against an 8-Rex. It might be fine against a 5-Rex, but not against the 8-Rex, because there's so many freaking reinforcements. Look at the supplies here. What is this? I just don't understand it. The Baneling count is very high, though. Banelings are now clearing SCVs on the 3rd base. Ryung has a policy of not looking at anything but his army for now. Well, also not the greatest micro when it comes to the army. Burrows 2 mines in the exact same location. Big mine shot there, though. Good connections. It's still 2-2 versus 1-1. Reynor has dropped a lot in supply, and most importantly, in the army supply. Only has 50 army supply remaining against the 88. He's still down in upgrades as well, let's not forget. I think Ryung is going to pick up this map. Reynor looks very confused, and so am I. I have no clue what went wrong here. I just don't understand it. He was floating a lot of cash, and maybe his run-by was too small. Maybe he didn't have the info. But that looked mental. Nothing went right for Ryung. He dealt 0 damage, and yet he walks across the map and takes the win. Alright, up next we got Solar over here. A massive mushroom behind him. This guy just loves his shrooms. And then bottom left we have Trigger, playing for Team Basilisk, who is not properly centered in the middle of his camera. Does have a massive window right next to him, though. Surely there's some glare on the screen then. Just looking at it hurts my eyes. Solar is playing in darkness though. Maybe he's in the basement. What is that behind? Is it like his trophy case? Why is there an anime picture on the screen all of a sudden? This is all types of messed up. Alright. Enough about the things that are happening on the screen. Let's talk about StarCraft. Oh, gold first base. Wowee. Solar. You animal. You beast. Disgusting Zerg player. Blech. God, I hate this type of stuff. As we're starting with a gold here. This is, of course, a perk that the Zergs do have. A lot of Zerg players have been playing this. It's extremely hard to deal with. And this is just, I think, one of the realities that map makers need to think about a little more. Is that the moment there is a gold base on a map that is semi-imaginable as a fort base, it is going to become a natural for a Zerg. Like, this is just a reality that I think we need to tackle as a community. Because every map that has a gold base in a semi-realistic fort base location, like this isn't a great fort base location, but it could be a fort base location. And that is enough for Zerg to take it as their natural. Because the advantage of building a gold is so freaking huge for Zerg. Like, it's actually painful. It is maddening. It is maddening, it really is. And on top of that, they also get creep much quicker on the map. So it's really a win-win situation. As a Protoss, you're just behind from the get-go. And Equilibrium is even crazier, as it also has a rich Vespene geyser right next to it, making any type of Ravager push near impossible to hold. Like these freaking Ravager Queen Nidus, Ravager Queen All-Ins, Ravager... Just anything with Ravagers and Queens is so freaking good. Because there's so many more Ravagers than usual. But now I'm already complaining about Equilibrium. We haven't even seen it yet. This is how rent-free that map lives in my head, by the way. And if you think I dislike it, you should hear Terrans talk about it. Because at least for Protoss, we can take the gold base against Terran as our third or as our natural. But Terrans, they're getting dicked in every single matchup. getting dicked in CVT, they're getting dicked in PVT, and TVT is awful altogether. So this is literally, there's no good matchup for them in Equilibrium. It freaking sucks. Oh no. It's life sometimes, you know. You can't always be lucky. And Terrans have been lucky. They got a patch of a lifetime for themselves. Alright, speed's about to finish up here as we have a standard Oracle opener coming out of Trigger. Let's see what he's going to achieve with that. My feeling is that he's not going to achieve a whole lot with it. Because Solar is a phenomenal player. A cute move that a lot of Zerg players have been going for, by the way, is that when they open up with a gold, is that they build an extra bunch of links, right? Because you don't need as many drones to have good saturation or to have good income. So they say, hey, you know, I just built like 12 to 16 links or so, and then maybe I can deny your third. This has happened to me a couple of times. It's very frustrating because that investment that usually is quite big is now not as impactful on the Zerg eco whatsoever. So this is something you always got to keep in mind, really. So the creep spread is already is expanding here. Look at that, man. It's going everywhere. It's everywhere. Spore Crawler gets built, gets cancelled. Bam. Solar does it all. 7 more drones on the way. Double gases here for Trigger, who's adding in a third Oracle. Ooh. There's very little things better than 3 Oracles. But one of the things that is better than 3 Oracles is 4 Oracles. Something to always keep in mind, of course. So for now, Trigger is just using them individually. I wonder what server they play on, by the way. I think Trigger is from Eastern North America. I think he lives in Canada. I think he's East Coast. Do they play on West and Korea then? Or did they just play on West twice? That would be very broken in favor of the Americans, surely. They play West twice. I'm not one to ping complain, but I'm actually kind of curious what the rules say on that. Sometimes there's some funky rules when it comes to the ping. Real funky rules. Oracles get 2 kills there. And it says Solar stacking into a lair. Into an Evo chamber. Probably means he has a Rotor or wants to build one still. Adept in the wall is standing strong. Yeah, okay, he has a Rotor already. He's building quite a few Roaches. 2. I was gonna say maybe some type of all-in, but we have a forward base, we have that Evo chamber going down. Are you really gonna all-in with that? It's possible, but somewhat unlikely, I think. 3 Overlords, though. Might be telling a different story. There's no follow-up attack either. It's not like the drone count here is going up to the sky either. Nah, never mind. 5 extra Overlords. Templar Archives for a trigger. It's interesting. This actually feels very similar to how I like to play. Except I also like to move out on the map with Stalkers at some point. And Trigger seems to be completely okay with staying at home. Means that creep is going to be everywhere. Okay, Solar is going for a 68, 67 drone Roach. All-in? Can I say it? Yeah, I can say it. This is an all-in. This is a very dedicated push at least. Trigger here hasn't quite scouted his opponent's drone count. Of course, with the gold, income is still going to be phenomenal anyway, so perhaps having 7 less workers doesn't matter as much as what you really want. Storm on the way. There's no Immortals. That could be an issue. It probably is an issue. Is this his army? Why does Trigger have no units? He's just down 60 supply. I don't entirely understand why that is the case. It's not like Solar is playing some new timing. This is a fairly common build. Someone like Reynor is very keen on this particular timing as well. Loves it. People with very good creep spread really like builds like this, because having good creep spread helps an insane amount, as you need the queens nearby in order to deal with any potential oracles. Hey, this seems like the worst build I've seen in my life out of Trigger. There was no pressure on the map, but it also wasn't greedy. He just has no supply. None. He's literally none. 0. Alright, he's dead. Alright. Well, this was a god-awful game. I was kind of excited to see this, because I appreciate Trigger's ability to usually come up with something spicy, but this was as bland as it comes. Bland and bad. Like eating with bread by itself, with no toppings. And not even good bread, it's like old stale bread. Couple of weeks old. Some green stuff on there, you know? You smell it, it's like, oh, that ain't good. There's nothing else though in your pantry. It says the green stale bread without any toppings. Or nothing. And I guess Trigger went for the stale bread, but god, this was awful. Yeah. Solar takes the win. Second map is going to be Rådhuset Station. City Hall Station. Also a metro station in Stockholm. That is a little bit of chicken and the egg situation going on right now. You know, what was first, the map or the metro station? And there's conflicting accounts on that matter. So, as I'm not a, I'm not a political YouTuber, I will not be weighing in on that. All I'm saying is that I find StarCraft much more interesting than some random metro station. So, if I were to make a choice, if I were to pick, I'd say that the map was first. But then again, I don't want to get into the politics of that, because it's a very controversial topic right now. Very controversial. Look at this. What? Right into Overlord Vision. That is beautiful. Forge. Cybercore. I'm not sure why. The core didn't fit. He messed up his wall. He was shaking his head as well. He's like, oh, I'm an idiot. And I practiced this 5 times against the AI. This went all wrong. Some serious blunders here being made in the early game by Trigger. Not having that full wall is gonna suck if you're doing whatever he's doing. He's gonna build a cannon here? I don't think that reaches the mineral line. But I could be wrong. I'm never so good at judging distance. But I don't think it does. I'm not even sure. I think if you put a tank there, it doesn't even hit the mineral line. But I also could be wrong about that. It's possible that the thing... Oh, Solar is mining the wrong mineral patch here. Very nice. Cute move, Solar. Very cute. So this is going to be Void Ray in the Tempest, or Oracle in the Tempest, or Oracle in the Void Ray, or... It's going to be something stupid. And I'm here for it. Let me tell you that much. Okay, we get 8 links on the way. Has to fill that... plug that gap in the wall with a pylon. Now hear me out here. Okay, hear me out. What if Solar goes for a Baneling Bust? Oh, I think that's what he's doing. He's adding in a second gas. And then you just kill all your opponent's workers. Wouldn't that just win you the game? I guess that's why Trigger's wall is so darn important. Now there's a second cannon here. You could also probably just bust this location, although that seems a little bit more risky. The Adept is getting cleaned up. He's taking into Lair. This is the last thing that I had expected. What's he gonna do? Play Hydras? Surely that's not the real response here, is it? Battery going down. Oh. Here comes an attack. I'd love to see another pylon. Although that pylon might be walled in. So then you don't need another pylon. It's an interesting location for a cannon. I'm real curious what's going to happen here. I've never seen this particular build being played against Zerg. A 1-base Tempest Rush. And I've seen a lot of stupid crap, let me tell you that. I've seen a lot of stupid crap. And it's beautiful because there's a gold with this. Technically, if you lose your main, just take the gold, you know? Spire? Okay. Probably want to take a couple of extra gases in that case, no? Yeah, I think the gold's going to be taken right now. I wonder if it's better to get the gold first or the tectonic destabilizers. You know what's also interesting? I think if Solar would have just taken a 3rd base, like the Alpha Star response against this might have actually been very good. Is where you just drone up, you rush into a lair, and then you just get spores. Because if there is no support of batteries, queens can trade, like they can walk back and forth for a long time, and then you're just mining from the 3rd. Like what he's doing right now, I think is actually correct. Except he did it of low eco. Like this could be done on very high eco. Because you don't need any links. Like you need like 4 links to deal with the single adept that's there. And you don't have to lose all these drones for free either. It's not mandatory. Not like Solar signed a contract that he needs to run drones through this the entire way through, you know? Absolutely not the case. There's going to be 5 Corruptors coming out. I wonder if that's enough. I think the answer might be no. Look how fast Tempests are now. Oh, messed up right there, right over there. First few 6 Corruptors are coming out. I think Trigger might be doing it. I wonder if you go into Void Rays here now, or if this is just what you do for till the end of time. Just pure Tempest. I mean, he could get some workers into this gold phase. Just recall a couple, then produce some. Add a second Stargate. I mean, yeah, he's gonna get a Void Ray here. He's up in workers, or soon to be up in workers. Second Stargate gets run. He's building workers. Yeah, I like this. I think this could work. Super battery. Hello? Super... No, not necessary yet. Okay. If he can snipe this base, it's 2 base versus 2 base. Now, 2 base Corruptor is awful. 2 base Tempest also isn't quite it, but... I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it. I think maybe getting an Oracle here would be good. So you have vision of these Corruptors. I think that actually would really help here. More gases need to be built here as well. The worker count is 36 to the 33 of Trigger. Double gas is indeed going down. Second Stargate, I think, is finished right now. And so is that hatchery. As in, it's dead. Not that it just finished building. Solar currently outmining his opponent. I think there's oversaturation going on in the main base of Trigger. He also is blocking half of his own mineral patches with cannons, which is usually considered suboptimal as well. He's going into a Twilight Council. I think an Oracle would be a correct play here. I think he's also freestyling right now. Yeah, look, see, he's oversaturated here in the main heavily. He should be mining much more, but he needs to recall workers, and I don't think he can because he doesn't have energy. Oh, there we go. No, he does have energy, apparently. Needs to clear one of his own cannons, though. That much is obvious to me. Like, it's blocking 2 entire mineral patches on that bottom side. Look at that probe completely freaking out. What? Guys, I can't go there! Can't go there! Cannot go! And now there's 2 of them. In a little rave. He took some of Solar's shrooms. Come on, take out a cannon, buddy. There's 2 patches that aren't working. I don't know what... I mean, he's getting charged? Alright. You know what's unironically the correct play here for Solar? Is to go across the map with the Corruptors and pee on the main Nexus. I actually think that would be a baller play, as the kids would say. I think a Templar Archives would be the correct play here, coming out of Trigger. Solar's uber confused. He can almost just fly in, by the way. Yeah, Templar Archives going down. Road Warren being built here for Solar. This is still 2 base versus 2 base. Although Solar now has a 3rd, so that's actually not true at all. It's 3 versus 2 base. This is a ridiculous build order. I'm not actually sure who's winning this. There's a lot of these air units, though. It's all going to be about the ground. That's what I figured out. I think Blink might have been better for the call here. If he would have had Blink, you could micro against these roaches forever. Templar Archives gets taken out. Here we go. Zealots chasing a queen. Man, there's quite a few roaches. There's really no zealots. For a charge slot all-in, this has a very low amount of charge slots. No, I think Trigger's just dead now. Yeah, from here now he's toast. Absolute toast. Here come the other zealots. As, I mean, I like the idea, but despite Solar having a terrible response in multiple ways, it still didn't work. And I understand this is a one-time build, so you're kind of expecting your opponent to make mistakes. I feel like there was yeah, lacking execution here. Lacking execution coming out of Trigger. That one cannon is still blocking mining on the bottom side. Not a huge fan of how this went. Also felt like that second Stargate, I think it built like 1 Void Rays. Like, well, could have probably had a faster Blink then, or a faster Twilight Council for a faster charge all-in, if that's what you want to do. Now we're gonna get our attack going. And Solar just has simply way too many roaches. With 26 versus 10 zealots, 4 Archons do pack a punch. But they don't pack enough a punch. Absolutely not. The Natural now has died for Trigger. And that means that ONSYDE is going to be taking a 3-1 lead against Basilisk. And putting a heavy burden here on the shoulders of Serral. Saying, Serral, you versus Maru is going to be an important one. If you don't 2-0, we're out. Or well, if they lose this clan war, it's not like they're out. They're still going to be like in 3rd position or something in the overall league. But this is a very important one, that's for sure. Main Nexus also goes down as Trigger gonna tap out most likely. Solar knows he's won. Trigger knows he's lost. And so do all of us. Trigger still goes for it though with a pro pool. Moves in with the 6 Archons that he has, but there are so many freaking roaches right now that it simply will not matter. Solar still controlling all of his units. GG gets called, and the GSL champ 2-0's Trigger here in his best of 2. And that brings us to Maru versus Serral. Now, Maru versus Serral is often hyped up as this epic face-off between the top Korean and the top foreigner. And that has been true in the past, but most of the time, honestly, they're kind of letdowns. Out of the past 11 maps that these two have played, Maru won a single one. A single map is what he won against Serral. Almost as good as my record versus Serral, which out of the last 11 maps I have played against Serral, I've won 0. So you could say that Maru and I have a similar experience. Not exactly the same, but I think similar enough that I like to lump myself in the category with Maru there. You know, we know what it's like to lose to Serral. Now, unlike Maru, I don't actually know what it's like to win against Serral, so curious to see if he's going to figure it out this time around. CC first opener coming out of the Korean Terran player. And Serral opens up with speed. Speed, speed, speed. Very interesting. Now, why is that interesting, friends? It's because on this map, whenever I have seen Zergs play against Terran, or just in general, they go for these early speedless openers, these gasless openers, really boosting their overall supply, boosting their economy in the early game. Because, well, what's the point of getting early speed if you can take the backdoor third anyway? You just need a couple of queens in front and you're going to be fine. Against Protoss that's the case, although Adepts might be a little hard to deal with every now and again. But against Terran, that is 100% the case. There's no way for Terran to run by past 4 or 5 queens. So I'm really surprised to see Serral play it like this. He's kind of defaulting to the standard here. Very odd. Very odd indeed. Alright. Like, the difference in eco, I think, is quite significant. People don't really realize, but playing gasless, like, that is massive when it comes to money. Like, you get so much freaking cash. So many drones. I've seen some games between Dark and Oliveira, and I'm sure some of you have as well, if you've been following this channel. And Dark on Golden Aura very often plays gasless, and his worker count is like 5 minutes and 30 seconds. It's like freaking 72 or something. He's like, well, that looks good. That looks real freaking powerful there. Yeah, I'm impressed by it often. Serral spreading creep? What? Is this like a little trick that Serral knows? If you mine 1 mineral patch, you can spread to the downstairs. Like, what? That's actually very cool. I wonder if it works like that. Observer is pointing it out as well. It's like, man, this is crazy. You won't believe it. It's actually a really cool trick. I didn't know it. I guess that's the things you need to figure out when you're a Zerg player. As pros, all you need to figure out is how to wall on most maps. Most important thing in life. Just make sure that the links can't come in before the 3 minute and 30 second mark. That's all we care about. Layers being rushed out here for Serral, who has a nice queen spread. Not gonna take any major damage here, I'd imagine, at least. I'd be very surprised if he takes any major damage here. As Maru plays it slow. He doesn't want to be doing anything yet. Did he get any air units? I don't think so, right? Well, I see some... Oh, a Liberator. Was it Viking Liberator? Ah, right. Viking Liberator. It's moving into 3 racks right now. Or 3 extra barracks being added in. I think actually it's going up to 5 racks total. Spire play. It's rare to see Serral play Mutalisks. He usually only does it on maps where he doesn't feel so comfortable on. Which I guess would be Rothhuset Station. It's not a very comfortable map. As so far it's pretty much in line of expectation what we expect out of a Maru Serral series. Because both players are, you know, I know they're very good, but they're also uber boring. Maru in TVZ tends to be just an absolute snooze fest. And Serral almost always plays like a snooze fest. These guys could be headlining snooze fest together. That would be a festival. You just take naps all the time. I wonder if there's any money in that. I'll be talking to some investors after this. Snooze fest. Who else will we get? for snooze fest. Like Maru versus Serral, like best of 9s. All of them being played on Radhuset Station. Have like a mod where there's rocks splitting the map in the middle. That'd be kind of sick. I like the thought of that. This drop killed 3 drones. That has been the most action we've seen so far in the first 7 minutes. 11 Muras. Now the game is possibly going to kick off. It's also possible it's not going to kick off. It's possible that these Muras just get shut down real hard and then that will be it. Big marine drop. Or marine drop, big marine attack. The Hellbats are following suit here. That's a lot of Muras. Dodging the scan. I'm not sure if that was a dodge though, like a full dodge. I think it might have been. Liberator shows up in the 4th base of Serral. Serral needs to respond to that. And he does, of course. But not before 3 workers go down. That makes 6 total so far. 5th base gets cancelled. Or killed. It's not here anymore. There's also no turret though in this natural. Basilisk are heading in, and I think that Maru here is gonna get caught with his pants down a little bit. That's one of these things you don't want to happen in life. Basilisk continuing their streak of harassment. Now moving in towards the main base, while at the same time Maru is pretending like he is the one that has map control. But really that's all just pretending and posturing, because he doesn't. Does not have map control here whatsoever. These Muras are going to give that map control, I think, to Serral over the next few minutes. Serral now moves over towards the fort. That fort just barely finished, I believe. That is a very big deal, because if that fort had been cancelled or taken out, I think all of a sudden this game looks extremely Serral favored. Right now it looks normal Serral favored. It looks good for Serral, but his upgrades aren't great. And finding damage on this map with Mutaling Vein can be quite tricky. So, yes, the supplies are good for our Zerg player, but there's really only one angle you can attack in. Like, there's no links you can run by into the natural or into the 3rd, because those are hidden behind a mineral wall as well as a bunch of rocks. This map reminds me a little bit of Stargazer sometimes, where Muta also was very popular, and it also was impossible to attack. Also provided some very long games, Stargazers. Also some epic games. Recall some real good games on Stargazers. But that was the exception, not the rule. But mine is going to connect with some of these drones, as the Muras will clean this up. +3 start here for Maru. And he's just sitting back and not doing much of anything. Infestation pit goes down on the side of Serral. Probably indicates he wants to get a hive at some point in the near future. Or maybe get an infestor out. That would be wild. Turrets going up in the 3rd base, which is a difficult to defend location, but at the same time you can just plump it full with turrets and you should be fine. 5th base on the way already. Thor coming out. We see Maru opting for the vehicle plating, so that's the armor upgrade for the mech units, rather than the attack. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe the bounce and the Ling attack, something you want to deal with, and you're saying, hey, my Thors are going to be dealing damage anyway, so like whether I have +1 or +2, like Muras will not be fighting well against Thors, which is technically true. And then maybe having them get another shot in is much bigger. And, you know, I understand that. I can comprehend this decision for sure. Sensor tower is now going up, or well, sensor tower is going up right now. Yeah, and this is kind of what I was thinking of earlier when I said, yes, it looks good for Serral, but it doesn't mean it's great. Like, we're just in a situation right now where Serral is invested heavily, just heavily invested into those Mura, into the Ling Bane, has delayed his upgrades. And what has he achieved with it? Well, to be quite honest, nothing. He's forced out a bunch of turrets. I think that's the biggest thing he's actually done, is forcing out a bunch of turrets. And that's not something that is usually considered great. Like his hive is late. He's now getting ultras. I think we're just heading into a late game. And good lord, this has been a passive game. Especially if you compare it to the last one. The last game that we had. Also on Radhuset Station. Actually, that was kind of entertaining. With this one, holy cow. It's slow. With no end in sight. Muras pop into the natural, take out a depot and a turret. Ooh, 6 dropper lords. Time for some ultralisk drop harass, perhaps? I'd love to see it. God, that would make my day. If he built 6 ultras right now and then puts them into Overlord, I'd be the happiest man alive, let me tell you that much. Oh boy, I'd be so happy. What's that? 2 more starports on the way? Okay, it's gonna be playing Mine Ghost Liberator, which is a, I think it's often considered the Clem composition, as he's one of the players that is very keen on that. Allows you to play a more active style, rather than the campy tank ghost style that we very often see. And makes kind of sense to transition into this, if your opponent still has some amount of Muras, right? Because usually, if you're building tanks, that's not great against Muras. Like, what if you have 15 tanks against Muras? That's a lot of supply that ain't doing crap, you know? It's a nice little drop here. It's gonna take out a bunch of these turrets and sensor towers, perhaps. 6 overlords filled with links. Well, I think that's 5, maybe 4. So 2 of them go down before really anything had kind of left them. Links dealing quite some damage. As all these turrets are going to get taken out. Maru continues expanding down the far right side. It's a true pity that this is the first map that they play on. Because this map doesn't really spark joy for me in a big way, you know what I'm saying? It really ain't. It really ain't sparking joy. Makes me a little bit sad at times. 14 minutes in. As the upgrades are now about to finish for Serral, as half the map covered in creep. Should probably start thinking about taking one of these more neutral positioned bases. See if we can get a head start on mining there. Ghost Nuke is being researched, being built. The Liberators are produced as well. Ultra's coming out soon. I wonder what the late game plan is going to be here for Serral. I really do. Like, what concept is he toying with? For now it's just going to be basically pure melee with some Muras in the sky and then Infestors on the ground. It's like some type of spellcaster presence, and then the Muras still just looking for angles here the entire time. They're finding an angle every now and again. It's just... they're not finding a whole lot, are they? They're finding minor things every single time. Scan the Infestor there. I think there's more command centers going down. Yep. Maru isn't done yet with his insane amount of CCs here. He says, hey, this is a blast. I love money. 106 larvae available right now for Serral. Let's see what he's gonna do with that cash. Mutalisk. Kinda just floating around. Things will take out the sensor tower as a couple of banelings try to go for a trade. I'm just so curious how Serral is planning on winning fights. Like, I understand how he can harass, like he is doing at the moment, or I understand how he can take out bases, but a fight, he just doesn't really seem to have the army whatsoever, as a ghost is going to drop a nuke here on this base. This planetary is going to take care of the link threat. Here comes a big attack, banelings wanting to get some connections here. moving towards the ghost. We get a cloak, and majority of the ghosts do stay alive. Not a bad fight whatsoever there for Maru, who is, for now, winning these trades. So far as we had any trades. Lip sieging up further forward, trying to get the push going here on this gold base. There's a lot of ghosts here. Mines could come in handy as well. The supply though, it looks so tiny. Big fungal, hit a lot of those ghosts, but ghosts stay alive for now. Gonna get a pickup. 170 supply to 192. So much money in the bank though for Serral. Bottom right side got taken out during all of this. That's nice. 7 workers as well going down. No lift out of Maru, who's actually struggling with the cash a little bit. Only has 1800 mineral income. 1200 gas a minute. Still has 1600 gas in the bank as well. Serral significantly richer in this game. So he throws down a Hydralisk then. 3 more libs on the way as well. Perhaps with a larger army, Maru can do something. He's gonna take out this base, I think. Or at least he's gonna try to take out this base. There's a bunch of mines, a bunch of liberators as well. This looks kind of scary as another Ling Run buy is running in. Being split off just as Serral decides to go in here with the Ultra Muta Baneling combination. See you later, alligator. This is what Serral says over there as he takes out a bunch of Maru's units. Planetary might just barely stay alive, but it is a vulnerable one, obviously. Okay, there come the Mutas. We'll probably take it out. Drops a bunch of mules there. Okay, he sees that this base is very important for him. He's gonna now start most likely mining with those mules. These creep tumors are being taken out by a scan. A couple of liberators. Still stuck there in the liberation position as well. Would love to see 2-3 turrets over here, Maru. I think it's a necessity. Also, where are those kills coming from? Those 12 kills. I heard a liberator shoot. Topside base gonna be taken out. Important to know that Maru actually has been trading somewhat okay, I feel like. I'm not entirely sure where or why, but Serral hasn't been capable at all of getting the top or the bottom base, the neutral ones. Couldn't quite see what it said there in the resources lost. That's a big fungal though. That's a very big fungal. Is it going to be enough though? There's a couple more banes in the back, but they're not going to connect at all. Liberators dealing so much damage. Turret helping out against these corruptors. Liberators stay alive. Maru does drop a lot in supply. But has a good lip count. Lost too many ghosts though in my mind. Lost way too many ghosts. 188 supply for Serral against the 144 of Maru, who is outmining his opponent in gas, but is being outmined when it comes to the minerals. And right now the mineral count is the most important thing here for Maru. Infestor's gonna get sniped. Yep, there we go. Gold base needs to be saturated here, as that bottom right side base becoming so vital here for our Korean Terran player. He needs to get that at some point. Or he needs to focus on his own planetary gold and then send a drop towards the bottom to try and deny anything there that Serral tries to do. Right now he might be spreading himself a little bit too thin. Moving here towards the bottom side, bunch of ghosts, lots of medevacs. Is that planetary going to survive? Serral says, hey, I actually rather keep my base alive than kill yours. I wonder if that's the correct call. Look at the mineral income right now. That's a lot of money that Maru is getting. His supply is also getting much larger here. 700 minerals. 800 minerals in the bank. Keeps pushing forward with those 7 lips. That's a lot of liberators. Banelings, 33 being produced. This base is toast. And now you definitely need to kill the gold. If you don't kill the gold now, you could actually be in serious trouble here, Serral. Because then you're getting outmined. Not only in gas, but also in minerals. And that could be real bad. Liberators once again are sieging up. Big scan forward. Okay, that base is toast. You can forget about that. This is a very important fight. Because if Serral loses his own gold and loses this fight, that could be huge. Okay. Lots of Marines going down. Liberators too far in the back, it feels like. Way too far in the back. Just gonna retreat after taking out that hatch. Serral expanding to the top side, as he's still denying bottom right, or trying to deny bottom right. Why aren't we just building a freaking planetary there is my question. To me, that would make way, way more sense. Good scan there, finding a bunch of these. As mines are being triggered here. Maru not mining the gold. Maru hardly mining anything right now. Still, 4k minerals in the bank for Serral against 1100 of Maru, who has a large army. 9 SCVs being built at a time. Surprised by that. I am. Here comes a fight. Fungal connects. Oh my good lord. That burrowed infestor had been there for a very long time. And that was a huge fungal. Serral hardly losing anything here. Still has a huge bank. While Maru, he lost all of his liberators there. All his liberators went down. Can he morph these corruptors into brutes though, Serral that is? I'm not so sure if he can. Might be important to now try and get rid of these corruptors, because otherwise what are you going to do with them? You know, you can just let them float around. They're taking up supply. They need to do something. I think brutes might be the answer here anyway. Serral disagrees though, as he adds in a couple more ultras, more banelings as well. This base is still semi-mining, no planetary here. Bottom side being taken for Serral, also has the top side. So he's double expanding, really. Or trying to. Not sure if Maru's gonna let that happen. Maru is 131 supply against 128 of Serral. Don't forget, Serral has a lot of corruptors in that army supply as well. Which technically don't really help in a ground fight. At all. Like whatsoever. There's a bunch of libs. Even against liberators, like corruptors are good, but you're gonna lose the ground fight still. Because liberators will shoot the ground. Corruptors don't shoot ground. I wonder if getting libs here, if there are so many corruptors out, is actually a good move. Or if you just say, hey, I ignore it, I get a massive ground army, then I own you. I get a bunch of mines out. Liberators now trying to siege up. Burrowed Infestor over there, Planetary helping out. Liberator that siege up on the bottom side, also helping out defensively. As this gold is being taken. Oh, there comes a fungal from the side. I didn't see it, the Observer didn't see it, and neither did Maru apparently. He's gonna lose a bunch of his ghost here. Serral with a dominating engagement right now. Still has a crap ton of resources in the bank, and let's face it, Maru does not have the resources to try and rebuild here. As for now, Serral is just going to retreat. If he has a Greater Spire right now, if he were to morph into brutes at this point, boy, he'd be in a sick position. At the same time, bottom right could be taken out perhaps by Corruptor plus Ling, as it's just really a planetary, a lone planetary, and a single liberator. Once again, gold is going to get denied here. Maru, 71 supply to 128, I think is 71, well, army supply that is. I think can't win fights. I just don't think he can win fights. It's simply impossible. Corruptor's most likely peeing on that CC as well as on the planetary. There we go. Yeah, that's pain. As both of them here are gonna get taken out. Link's coming in as well. Fungal doesn't really get the connection that it needed. 83 supply, army supply to 130. Ship weapons level 3 finishes up right now. Not sure what that's really going to achieve though. Maru needs bases, he doesn't need upgrades. And Serral has bases. And he also doesn't need upgrades. Although +3 air carapace might be nice. As well as +2 range attacks in case your queens ever need to do any sneezing on people. I mean, Maru has been doing all of this technically off of 5 bases. He hasn't properly mined from a 6th or a 7th. Well, Serral has been mining off 7 and now it's going up to 8 and 9. Here comes a fight. And I think this might just be the final fight. As Basilisks are moving forward. Ghosts are trying to split, but it won't be enough. Maru gets destroyed in game number 1 here on Rodhuset Station. After a very calm and kind of boring early game, we got a very calm and kind of boring mid game into a kind of calm and somewhat exciting late game, in which Serral will be victorious, because there is nothing here that Maru can do. There's simply nothing that says, hey, well, actually, this is pretty decent income. This is a lot of mules there, but it's long distance mining as well. GG gets called, and Serral takes the first map. Alright, after that banger of a first game, we're here on map number 2, and it's going to be Side Delta. Once again, this gets picked by the loser, and as Maru was the loser, he's the one that got to pick Side Delta. That also means that he believes this is the best Terran map. Now that's funny, because earlier in Ryung versus Reynor, we saw that Ryung believed that Oceanborn was the best map. Or maybe they have different plans, you know, for different things, different maps are good. That is a revolutionary concept that I can't quite grasp, but maybe these guys, that's why they're just a little bit better than I am. As Maru's opening up with a standard barracks on the high ground, quick CC build. And we have Serral here going into what seems to me like a hatchery first. And I hope, for the love of God, to see a little bit more action in the first 25 minutes of this game than in last one. Now, I love a good late game as much as the next guy, but if both players just are content with going into a late game, then there's almost no reason for them to deal damage early on, which I think isn't quite what we want usually. It's not quite what we want. As we're following this Overlord's path, it's going to go into the net, and the Reaper makes his way across the map. Second gas goes down before a third CC. This is what is often known as a triple... sorry, not a triple CC. This one is a 2 CC opener here coming out of Maru. So a little bit less economical, yet with the potential to deal some serious damage. The Reaper here is not dealing any serious damage quite yet. Good control by Serral. Really nice control. Ooh, that Overlord's getting spotted by that Marine. Orbital starts in the net. That's nice. That's a good scout denial, actually. This forces Serral to go across the map with a number of his links to get information that way. Because he only has one Overlord on Maru's side, and that one just got spotted. That means there's no information gathering happening with that Overlord. Now, perhaps some information gathering will happen with these links, as the first 2 cars are about to pop out. Here come the links with speed. We'll get spotted by that depot. See that depot, so know that it's not a triple CC opener. That is a big tell already. That link's going to get taken out. Marine has died. That allows the Overlord to go in. These links came here with a very specific mission, and that mission was to get the Overlord in the main base. So yes, he lost 4 links. That is 100 minerals, but he killed an SCV and a Marine. So he gained 100 minerals as well. And on top of that, the Overlord is now allowed to get a scout. So, really just kind of clearing the path for himself there. Nice play. I like this. I give this play 4 out of 5 stars. Now, you're asking and wondering what would have made this 5 out of 5 stars if you would have kept the links alive. Now, that was technically impossible, but I mean, you gotta have high standards for a perfect score, you know what I'm saying? Links here catching these cars, as well as Maru's early game here absolutely falling apart. He's getting blasted. Oh my god. Ooh. Serral with some sick plays here in the early game. Loving it. Loving what he's doing here. So he throws down his lair. 4 minutes and 35 seconds into the game. Continues his drone production. Triple spores coming down as well. The question is, are we going to take our gases? Are we going to throw down a baneling nest? This is going to be a roach warren. Serral. What are we doing? Fast double e-base, by the way. Holy crap. These are quick. Going to be a baneling nest. 5 minutes in, as well as 2 more gases. I'm liking it. 4th base will follow shortly. And then maybe even a 5th in there as well. Banshee now shows up. I'm not sure if he finished the cloak research, actually, now that I think about it. I can't recall seeing a second Banshee or cloak research actually finish. It's interesting. Very interesting indeed. Cars here pretending to do some big damage, sniping 2 creatures. We were worth the investment. Don't worry, guys. 14 more links on the way for Serral. He's playing it safe. I feel like Reynor would have added 9 more drones here. Saying, hey mate, what are you gonna do? Push me now? No shot. Serral very heavily holding down that link button. Also doesn't have any upgrades yet. Just now starts them. Scouts with an overseer, making sure it's not mech. Look how sick this defensive setup is here for Serral. He has a lot of links. Now adds in those 6 drones. Feels like that order could have been reversed. 6 drones into the rest of the links. No. Would have been better. More eco. But let's not flame the best player in the world. 6 queens just running around. Like headless chickens. Looking for something to do. Bark, bark. That's the worst chicken impression I've done in a while. To be fair, I was a headless chicken. Nothing does make a whole lot of sound. Lynx patrolling in the main base. Get a scan forward. Takes out 1 tumor. I really don't think that is worth it. I could be wrong about that, but every scan is 225 minerals, and these creep tumors are being replaced instantly. Is it really worth it if you're just gonna get a single tumor and the queens are nearby to go for that scan? I almost always feel like the answer to that is no. Like this type of stuff. It's like the queens are there, you see them, you scan, you kill a tumor. There's still 3 active tumors. Like you just wasted 225 minerals. I don't think that's worth it at all, actually. I really don't believe it. As, ooh, Maru is walking into a position here that is interesting. As it doesn't seem like a very good position. Now, one of the things that you want to do with tank pushes usually is find a good position. This seems brittle. Very brittle indeed. Once that surround comes in from the back, once 1-1 finishes, things are going to change. Come get around links wherever you roam. Because the tanks and marines are sieging your home. Come on, buddy. Gotta fight at some point. He needs to go before the reinforcements arrive. Yeah, this is good timing. This is really nice timing. Beautiful fight here by Serral. It's going to clean up those tanks. And gets about an even trade in supply. But if you clean up the tanks, it means that this position will not be reinforced. And that's really what matters. Because if that tank position stays there and then 2 more tanks show up and 2 more tanks show up, all of a sudden there's 9 tanks outside of your natural. There's nothing you can do about it, you know? But this was real nice. This was real nice. This is perhaps a bit premature here. Coming out of Serral, wanting to clear that. It's actually going to give up this base, or pretend to give up this base, as a link run by is making its way across the map. What is there at home for Maru? I don't know. What is there? Well, that's enough. That is definitely enough. Serral now running back home with those links, saying, hey, I want to get that surround once more. And there we go indeed. Tries to siege up a tank. Is going to get 1 shot off perhaps. Yeah. Serral moving heavily in his chair there. Maybe excited. As he destroyed that fight. Whoa. Playing with my chair around for a little bit. Loses a couple of Hydras though. As we see a major move out towards the top side as well. Simultaneously coming out of Maru. This move out is lacking medevacs, or they were ahead of the army. They were ahead of the army indeed. There's a Banshee as well. No vision whatsoever here for Serral, and this is going to sting a little bit. This is the 5th base. It is not the end of the world if it gets taken out. But it is very annoying. Because right now Mary is already saturating the fort base over here. Has 8 barracks with Marauders producing 4 at a time. This is a nice position. No high ground vision. 2 big shots there, shelling down these banelings. Beautiful splash damage. Nice focus fire with that tank as a 5th base gets thrown down here for Maru as well. Serral trying to rebuild it. The Ling Bane flank will clean up this tank. And if there's one thing that we can say that Serral has been doing very well is keeping that tank count low. He's been doing a brilliant job at that. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Triple mine drop being sent out. There's drilling claws that's about to finish up. Is definitely going to help the Terran drop over here. Hydra's now moving out as well. It seems like it's a bit much. Yeah, definitely wants to pull back. This almost feels like there's Banelings burrowed here, you know? That type of attack. Yeah. He scans a little bit. He's like, hey, this is weird. Why are these Hydras so far off creep? This really did have burrowed Baneling vibes. I don't know why, but it just... something... It triggered something in me, and it triggered something in Maru as well at about the same time. Oh, that's so funny. Top side is secure. Bottom side is a lot of things. Secure, perhaps being one of them. There's not so much splash damage here on the bottom side. It means that Banelings will be very efficient. Very effective. Medevac's under heavy fire by the top side army. Lurker then on the way. Hive on the way. Maru is forgetting to start his 3-3 upgrades, which I think is so important in this scenario in which the Zerg player is struggling to get those upgrades quickly, right? Because the Hive is a little bit delayed. And I think Maru had a potential upgrade lead that he isn't taking. It was there. I could feel it. You know, it really was within hand's reach. This is a good drop. As Baneling there is going to end it. Felt like an okay trade, though. Really felt like an okay trade. 3 more mines in production. 6th base going to get cancelled. 5th base on the way here for Maru. +3 starts. 3 ghosts on the way. They're going into a late game. This is a very different type of game, though, than the last one, where the last one was much more stable, and it felt like Serral was the one deciding when to fight. This time it is Maru who dictates where and how the fights take place. Beautiful mine move there as well. That is so annoying to deal with if you're Serral, because there's already so much happening right now on the map. You don't want to have to run back home to deal with that mine, and that mine might have actually just saved the 5th base. As silly as it sounds, it might have just been what happened, because that planetary now could potentially finish up. Actually, it won't. Although Serral isn't aware of it. Rookie move, or perhaps the correct move as he's going for the planetary. He's diving deep. He's gonna get it. He's gonna move back home. That bottom base is still there. That 5th base. Yeah, the observer is pointing it out. He's doing that for a reason. It's because that base is important. That base is important. Maru allowed to keep it alive. Might come to bite Serral in the bum later on. There's also a CC on the way there. So really, it could have been double fun. Triple CC's on the way. Ooh, this is a kind of a disjointed push coming out of Maru. Here come the reinforcements. Feels a lot better all of a sudden. It's a large portion of the army on the top side. There's Ghost in this army, not enough to really burst a massive lurker line, but if there's 1 or 2 lurkers, I mean, you can use your snipes for sure. And there's no lurkers defensively. Mine drop. Serral, a quick response. Still gonna lose 5 drones. Quick response, but the wrong one. I'm also really good at quick maths. You scream multiplications at me and I'll get the wrong answer, but I'll do it at very high speed. That's basically what happened here. It was real nice with the drone split, but still loses 5 to a single mine shot. Might have been better not to do anything at all. Pretend that you didn't see it. The burrow on the way as investors are being pumped out. 6th base going to get cancelled. Or at least the planetary morph is going to get cancelled. Might even go down. Yeah, no, there's not enough Hydras here. There's not enough Hydras here, and thus can't really... He can't possibly take it out, yeah. It's gonna morph back into a planetary. This area here is being cleared of mines. It's kind of big. It's kind of big. top side, still feeling very insecure here for Serral. He took a bad trade there. Not entirely sure what happened, but he's rebuilding 62 links, so I feel like perhaps some mines did some nasty business, some gnarly business. This base, I don't think it can finish. I think it needs to be... No. Maybe it can? No, it can. Okay, reinforcements arrive in time. The cavalry always shows up at the right time where it needs to be. Right place, right time, always. Freaking Maru, man. This guy's a legend. 6 lurkers on the way. It's a nice and active game. Man, we had to sit through some true garbage here today in that game number 1. But we're getting rewarded for our patience. Yeah, you know there's going to be some people that tuned out after game number 1. So I only have 40 minutes a day of watching StarCraft and I spend it on this stupid game on the Radhuset station. And then they hear about this game the next day and they missed it. So, oh, that's life. You know, if you commit to a series, you commit to a series. And we're getting the payoff right now. This is the reward. We're sitting through 25 minutes of pure pain. Holy crap. I literally almost fell asleep during that game. There were times where I had to mute myself because I was yawning. Also could be because I didn't sleep long enough last night. But I feel like the game definitely was an inspiration for a couple of yawns as well. Oh, thank God we get this one after. Like, this game has only been 16 minutes, but we've had action worth of like a 25-minute game already, you know? It's like constant trades, there's stuff happening, we had pushes, we had tank contains. Fighting over creep, fighting over bases. We've seen CCs go down, we've seen hatcheries go down. Like, this is what I want, this is what I watch StarCraft for, you know? Not 2 guys building up an army and then Serral winning in the end. God, this is nice. I love that investor position. I'm not sure what it's going to do yet, but I just love the fact that it's there. Serral has a plan for it. And us mortals just don't know what the plan is quite yet. Every now and again you hear like a Chinese voice line. Freaking love it. Freaking love it. Ooh, a couple of burrowed lurkers here. I have a feeling these might be on hold fire. Is that... Oh, this is a trap. Look at this trap. Okay, he's going to rotate towards the top side, have hold positioned lurkers there, and then go absolutely berserk with them as he walks through it. Oh, this would be such a sick play. I hope he succeeds. Here we go. Goes in towards the natural, takes out a bunch of SCVs instantly. Into the main we go, my dear friends. Lurkers are still there. We get that initial scan saying, hey, why is your army so far forward? That's weird. Where is it? No, he didn't hold position. What? He didn't hold fire. That could have been such a sick move. I mean, it still was a sick move. Got a lot of damage there. At the same time, this is just insane rotations. Beautiful army movement here coming out of the Finnish Zerg player. Oi, 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 oi. This is why his hometown gave him a plot of land. Is because of plays like this. Actually true, by the way. I think after he became the world champion, I think he got honored by the mayor and they just gave him a bunch of land. They were like, here. Live here. This is now yours. Because you're so well achieved. Like, oh, alright. He's building a house there, if I'm not mistaken, in his hometown. Sensor tower is gonna get taken out here. Planetary gets taken out. God, Serral is so good. He's outplaying Maru. He makes it look kind of easy as well, you know? You look at this and you think to yourself, I could have moved through the middle of the map and I would have had those lurkers on hold fire. I would have done it better. You know, that's what I would have done. I think this is the thing. He's just extraordinary at everything, and it makes everything look kind of normal because it's all the same. Sometimes you have players that are really good at micro, and it's like, wow, his micro is so good. But the part that you're not saying is that his micro is so good compared to the rest, you know? And with Serral, it's just like, he is just really good at legit everything. Here comes the Infestor of Burrow, and he hits everything. Banelings rolling in. Don't get the connections, though. And the parasitic bombs are late. The Liberators get to stay alive. Uh-oh. Serral did an oopsie. I thought he could commit there as well because that fungal was juicy. Oh my god, it's juicier than the juiciest peach. But not juicy enough. Some people just don't like peaches. They like apples instead. Those people should probably get themselves checked. But that was a nice fungal, holy crap. Didn't do the trick though. Army supply very high here for Maru, 127 to 122. Liberators are in position. Lots of these ghosts are cloaked. I'm not entirely sure why. That feels like a mistake. Is this hatchery under some heavy fire right now? It's gonna die. Spoiler alert. Oh, this is a command center, not a planetary. What a blunder here coming out of Maru. Being forced back completely as there's also 2 other command centers building there. No, not the medevacs. Oh no. He took such a good fight and now it's mistake after mistake. Serral back in the driver's seat. And boy is he fast in this car. Yeah, there's still a link there. Serral makes some wild moves sometimes in his chair. Like there's a spider in his shirt or something like that. Oh, the spider's still there. That it keeps him on his toes. You know, keeps him on his toes. It's like these guys that climb the building without any protective gear. You know, to make sure that they're always focused. Serral does the same. He also has a tarantula climbing over his keyboard. So that he's aware of every keystroke. Well, there's an interesting fight. Feels okay here for our Zerg player. Takes out another 11 workers. Planetary being added in here in the defensive mix. The thing, though, that we have to pay attention to for Serral is that he's not mining a whole lot of gas. He's saturating those top bases right now. But in a complete split map scenario, I want you all to kind of visualize this with me. Like, what neutral base is Serral taking? Like, the forward base he has, which is at the 12 o'clock, but at the lower part of the 12 o'clock, like closer towards the middle. If you've ever played darts, it's where the triple 20 would be. That's about where it is. Wait, what is on the right side? Maybe like a triple 1, something like that. Like, so this base, this is the one I'm talking about. If you hadn't played darts, now you also know where it is. What was I gonna say? Right, this base doesn't seem viable because there's that top side base that Maru can take. Then this bottom side base, which is I think where the triple 19 is in darts, also doesn't feel very viable. You know, it's like, well, can't really take that as Serral. No, I don't think you can. And I do believe that eventually Maru can take it. So Serral right now, he's in a really good spot. Okay, let's not pretend. But if he can't take the triple 1 or the triple 19 base, I think he might be in some trouble. I really do believe so. Liberators moving forward. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Difficulty speaking and thinking at the same time. I'm just looking at this map and it felt so good rotationally for Serral. But now when we're here, like in this situation, I almost feel like Serral should start transitioning into Broodlords. I feel like the army that he's currently working with is not viable anymore. He's gonna take out this bottom side base, which I appreciate. I think this is good. Probably should try and take out... Nah, he can't. Doesn't have enough Hydras. He's gonna lose this base in return. Is building the bottom side hatch. I think Infestor Brood is the only thing he can do. Like, these chokes are mad. Like, how do you engage into this? I don't even understand how you would do it with Infestor Brood either, honestly, but... that's a story for another time. This army just seems so good. Freaking 12 Liberators. Maybe you need some Corruptors against this? I guess you do, right? Maru playing one hell of a game, that's for sure. Link's running in right now. Banelings perhaps getting connections. There we go. The fight that Serral would have wanted, I think. And I think now reality is kind of sinking in. It's like, wait, I can't even take the topside base here. And that actually would be an issue as well. Like, there's loads of issues right now. Like, issue galore if you're Serral. The mayor of his hometown right now is calling up, saying, hey, I'm gonna take back that land if this is what you're gonna do. Like, no, I started construction already. You prick. Politics is rough business, Serral. You got caught in the crossfire. Ooh. Drones all dying. I think Serral just died. He's dead. He's absolutely dead. I have no clue what just happened, but I guess he took 2 bad fights and then... You played perfect an entire game. Yeah, all of a sudden I realized is that this army, it can't win. You need the late game army. Like, once the supply, the worker count gets too low, the Liberator sieges with the mines, I think they're just too strong. It's fine if the supply is lower because it's, you know, you can still get in there and trade a little bit. But if there's freaking 14 Liberators sieged up, like, what are you gonna do? You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. Overseer sieging up in their observer mode or their overseer mode or whatever the heck it's called. Liberators are moving forward. Serral taps out with GG. And thus ONSYDE wins this clan war with a 4-2 score as Maru takes his 2nd map out of the last 13 games, improving his score significantly. And that, my dear friends, is going to be it for me today as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this. If you like those full clan wars, be sure to leave a like. Tell me in the comments as well, would you have preferred seeing them split in 3 series, or would you prefer seeing it like this in one long go? Please do let me know, because otherwise I will never do this again in the future. And there's the Shopify Rebellion taking out Platinum Heroes. I didn't play in this particular clan war, but everyone else did. So yeah, real nice. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and bye-bye.